Insider tip here. The scarier a problem looks on the SAT, the easier it is once you really can figure out what's going on. And that's what they do, right? If there's an easy question, they got to make it look scary. So that way, there's a certain amount of kids that get it wrong. That's really, I think, what it comes down to, unfortunately. So let's make a new rule for ourselves. When we see something that looks scary, let's actually be happy because you know what? This is an easy problem. And this is actually how fast we can look at something like 13 and solve it. We see that the equation blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness, this looks crazy. And then there's like this whole other thing. It's equal to this, right? And then it's true for all values where x can't be 2 over a and a is a constant. What is the value of a? Whatever. So the real question is, what is the value of a, right? All this other stuff here, like this second line here is almost negligible. And now we look at, okay, this they're telling us is the same exact thing as that. Okay, so let's ask ourselves, how can we make something like this look like that? Well, we see a fraction, and we know on the SAT, they love testing our ability to recognize fractions as division problems in disguise. So what we see is like, okay, if I were to divide this by that, what would give me -8? Well, if we know anything about dividing polynomials, what we see is that it's really like, let's actually write this as an expression. 24, I'm going to do it long division. Some of us like synthetic, and that's fine. Long division is helpful here because it just makes it easier to visualize what's going on. 24, at least for me, squared plus 25x minus 47. And we're dividing that by a number we don't know that we're actually supposed to solve for, x minus 2. And I may even tell you that this minus 2, it's not really even going to be all that important because what we see is that we have a going into 24, and it's giving us an answer of -8. That's what this is, right? -8x. -8x times whatever this is gives us positive 24. What is the term that can give us that? Well, 24 turning into 8, that means that we must have divided it by 3. 24 divided by 3 gives us 8, but because it's a positive turning to a negative, that tells us that it must be -3. Everything else here is just a distraction, some fluff, some hurdles to put in your way of a very straight line that you're capable of running. So no longer do we get scared when we see these big problems. All right, we look at it and we go, you know what? I know what you're doing. All right, you're all bark, but no bite.